I didn't bring that book today, but there's tons of big books showcasing that black people were the inventors of damn near everything. It was more than just a stoplight. What's some of the things that they say black people were responsible for?
For the stoplight,
Stoplight,
the filament, and the light bulb.
yep.
Flat America.
Yeah, but when you go deeper, you realize that a black person created the microchip, laptops,
Dry cleaning.
dry cleaning, the cotton gin. But what happened is when it's very insulting on you to think that black people are not intelligent. When you have, I know this is probably not the greatest example, but it damn sure is great. When you have Egypt, that was clearly built by people of color. So it's not like people of color don't have the ability to be great. What was it called? The Great Egyptian Empire. They had pharaohs, and the science that was utilized to build the pyramids, which were in perfect alignment with the constellations. That's not dumb people. But to see in modern times and during the time of when colorism came into play, society has been taught or made to think that black and brown people are not intelligent. But during the Renaissance period, who was in charge of Europe? Black and brown people. The Moors were black people. They're responsible for all the great city and the education, the so-called education, and those systems that came about, that later on the Europeans adopted and incorporated into their church system. Especially during the Roman Catholic period. They incorporated a lot of the teachings that already existed from black and brown people and incorporated it into the church system. But the point is, just because you're black or brown, it doesn't mean you're a thug, you're a gangster, you're uneducated, or you don't have any intelligence. Even though in society, they try to push those things. Those things are not true. And some things are factual, that a lot of our people are lazy. You have no motivation, right? You've been manipulated by the music and the entertainment industry to continuously do the same thing, right? But that doesn't speak for all of so-called black and brown America. And when I say brown, I'm talking about our Latino brothers and sisters as well. We are the same people, whether you believe it, like it, accept it or not. Because I know in a lot of the Latino countries, when they have brown skin, they like to say, well, oh, I'm not black, I'm Latino. That in of itself is colorism and self-hate. But we gonna get on that in one of these topics as well. But right, but the point is, right? Get back to your culture. What is your true culture? The scriptures. A lot of people get caught up in the lies that the Bible is a book of the Caucasians. That is a lie. It's filled with nothing but nappy-headed, dark-skinned people.
Right.
From the beginning all the way to the end.
Right.
Even the so-called Son of Man is described as having woolly hair and dark skin, like brass. So you can't tell me this book is a Caucasian-based book while it has dark-skinned characters all throughout it. Okay? And then you have situations where you identify people that clearly have lighter skin tone or yellow hair on themselves. Now, if all the people were of light tone in the Bible, how would you be able to identify somebody that has leprosy?
Right.
Where it says that their skin would be white. See, there's a lot of things they don't teach in schools or in churches. Now, we don't make everything about color, but society does. Society makes everything about color. They're the ones that undo the true descriptions of what people look like and iconoclast them and make them look like something else. Taking characters that have dark skin and painting them to have pale complexions, blue eyes, and blonde hair. We didn't do that. Okay, your scholars, the same ones teaching you or educating you, are the ones iconoclasting the paintings and the different carvings on the walls. We didn't do that. So when we start talking about the truth, it may seem like we're getting into color. No, we're just getting into the truth. Yeah, you got that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That just brought me to first Maccabees, right?
Yeah.
First Maccabees. Now we're going to show you a little bit in history where what we're saying was actually done in history. 3 and 48, I believe it is. 43. You know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is. Go ahead.
This is First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48.
Right.
And laid open the book of the law,
Right.
wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
They did what?
Where the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Likeness of their images. Now, when you get a chance, you Google the word iconoclasm, and you're going to go down a long historical line of when, during the Renaissance period, they were taking images on walls and they were whitewashing them, changing the complexion of people. Black people are not known for doing that. We don't care about what people look like. We're the most loving and caring people. We welcome everybody in. But throughout the course of history, you're going to realize that certain folks did not want the true identity of those carvings, those paintings that were on the walls, in the catacombs, even all over in Rome. That's why in Rome they knock off the noses. These are historical facts, because there's certain phenotypes or features that people have on the planet. That's just the way it is. People of color are known for having exaggerated features, big lips, big noses, wide hips, and other things as well, right? Hey, that's the truth. They would knock off all the indicators of who the true people were. How you doing today, brother? All right, you had a question, or you?
Oh, no, I'm sitting here listening.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Jamal.
Jamal, my name is Shamar. All right, you're a Spanish brother?
No, I'm half white, half black.
Half white. What's your father?
Yeah, black.
He was a black guy? Okay. You know, once they say a little black, you black. So, all right. Not that it matters, but you know, you had some history you want to bring out real quick? Okay, go ahead.
This is the book called The Negro Question, Part 4, The Missing Link.
Okay.
It's on page 8. It says, I know that this image of a black King James, right? Because they say King James that authorized the translation was a white man, right? But that's not true. I know that this image of a black King James can be a little confusing because of your Western education.
Right.
But this is the truth that is known by the rich and the elite in the world, right? It says,
Read your
King James came from a long line of black Scottish Stuart kings with 343 years of rulership in Scotland.
Right.
The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled France, Spain, Ireland, and England, Britain, and the Wales.
Right.
King James was able to rule all of these lands because all of these people were of Iberian black descent. They were the same people,
Go ahead.
right? That's pretty much it on that book.
Okay. Talk
There's-
about the Byzantine.
Oh, you want to read that?
Um,
Right.
Go ahead. Read down.
Say-
Yeah, go ahead and then read down.
Okay. Remember, so like, if you look at the ball in his hands, it represents world rulership, and there was only one other group of world leaders who used this type of symbolism, and they were the Byzantine Roman emperors.
Right.
Remember, they told you that the English, that they were Roman citizens. This is the proof, right? I'm gonna read down. It says, as you can see from this Scottish king list, King James I of England was a descendant of the black Scottish kings who claimed the thrones of France, Spain, Ireland, England, Britain, Wales, and Scotland. In order to reinforce the testimony of Professor Boyd Douglas, I provided you an image of other Stuart kings of Scotland.
Right. So showcase that to the camera and to the brother that's there. And again, that goes back to what I was talking about, phenotypes of individuals, right? What type of hair, what texture of hair are people of color known for having, brother? Typically. Black people are known for having coarse hair, like my son. He has. Right. black people are known for having thick, nappy, wool-like hair. Okay? I don't know. Huh? What's that?
I got more like curly hair.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right. Well, it depends on how
I
the
was
genes
wondering
go.
why I never had nappy hair though. Like I have more like curly hair because
It depends on the gene pool. You know what I mean? Some of my kids, my wife is a so-called black woman as well, but some of our kids have like almost hair like yours. So you start getting into genetics and stuff like that. It kind of gives the explanation as to why certain traits go. You have black people that come out and they have blue eyes and hazel eyes. You know what I mean? So sometimes in that gene pool, the genes will do what they'll do. But according to the scriptures, you get your nationality, or your nationality is determined by your father. Because if you have an orange seed, right? If you take that orange seed from America and you plant it in Japanese soil, what type of plant or orange is going to grow in the Japanese soil? Still going to be an American orange. So the soil is synonymous with, the incubator, which is the woman. The woman incubates the seed of the man. And that's where you have the offspring. But the man has to spread the seed. That's what sperm means. Sperm comes from a Greek word sperma, which means seed. So when man plants the seed in a woman, that baby, that offspring is of the man. Now, of course, the woman plays a role. You may get some of the features from your mom. Like you said, you got that type of hair. I don't know what color your eyes are or whatever, but maybe you're.
I think they're like hazel.
They're hazel, okay, right. That would be a recessive trait. The dominant trait is the darker eyes. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. That's just the way the genes go. Then you get lighter
so
skin.
Predominantly, you're whatever your father is, right?
Yes, and then it goes back and back and back to whoever your father's father is. But we don't get too deep into genealogy like that. We more so deal with the spirit. Do you believe in God?
Of course I do.
Okay, cool. So that means you believe in the Bible.
I
Okay.
read the Bible.
Yeah, cool. So that's that's our foundation, the words of God. Did you know what Christ looked like? Let's get it.
Like water. I say like water.
I'm sorry, you had asked a brother earlier, are we the black what?
Israelites.
Israelites?
Yeah.
Okay. You heard
See the tribes
sign.
of Israel.
the 12 tribes?
Yeah.
So I know you may hear that term, but technically there's no black Hebrew Israelites, right? When you read the Bible, Hebrew is the language, Israelite is a nationality. So what would be more correct would be Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I've been doing research on groups like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is right now with the information day and age, this knowledge is all out there. And you have a lot of individuals that identify as Hebrew Israelites or black Hebrew Israelites that may not necessarily represent the information the right way. What I would tell you is, you gather information like you said, and you make the determination whether something makes sense or not. We don't tell you to only listen to us or only listen to them. The point is, if you believe in God, you believe these are his words, read it and ask him to guide you where you should be. But we also come out here and we try to spread the word with love to our people first, people on this side, and then everybody else who's willing to accept the truth of God. We go from there. Okay, but we don't condemn anybody. The Lord's the one going to be doing the condemning and judging in that day. However, we do highlight some of the evil and wicked things that people are doing. Have you heard about Chud the Builder? Yeah, you saw what he's been doing out there? So he got judgment. That judgment came from the Lord.
But he's nothing more than a grifter. I don't think he's racist for real.
Well,
Like, he's just doing it for money.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's I mean, what are you gonna do anything for the sake of getting money? He's out there disrespecting people while he's armed.
Yeah.
Like that's a real coward way of going about it.
Yeah, but he got what he was looking for though. He's in jail now and he can't really do nothing about it.
Right. And he's facing some serious charges, some federal charges.
It costs to be racist, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. But hey, at the end of the day, there's a ton of other Chud the Builders out there. You know what I mean?
No, there is though.
Yeah.
He really thought he could get away with it just because he's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a certain pride that he walked around with.
Yeah.
That a lot of other folks in America walk around with.
No,
you know
because
what I
he
mean?
thought self-defense just like applies like, oh well, I can go around and like, you know, antagonize people. I can like shoot you and get away with it just because I'm white. I'm gonna get away with it. But
Right.
it didn't happen like that. So.
Well, he also
Yeah.
thought stand your ground means you
Yeah.
can go around.
No, but I really thought he thought he could get away with it just because he's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And I mean, yeah, of course. Because imagine if that was a black guy going around doing
Yeah.
that. He would have been shut down
Yeah.
from the first
No,
clip.
for sure, for sure.
The first clip,
We all
he would have been
we
shut
all
down.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, again, the truth is the truth, and that's what we try to stand for. Well, you know, and if it was reversed, you had one of our brothers out there doing stupidity like that, trying to go viral and trying to make money off of a situation like that, then guess what? He would be dead wrong as well. Wrong is wrong and right is right. But it just so happened that there's certain folks on the planet who consistently exhibit that type of behavior. Okay? And the scriptures talk about that very explicitly. Where was we at, brother? Christ, yeah. Let's get Christ. So you were saying, so when I asked you, do you know what Christ looked like? What did you say earlier?
I said like water.
Like,
Because I mean, everybody says, you know, like when you see pictures of Jesus, you know, it's usually a white man, right? Like what I heard was like Christ really looks like water.
when you say look like water, what does that mean in your mind?
Liquid. I mean,
Like literal water?
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. Whatever you want. Christ, whatever you believe. My father never called like Christ God. He always called him David.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, there's a father and then there's a son, right? But real quick, when you say what, so in your mind, when you think of Christ, you think of him looking like literal water?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Do you believe he walked on the earth? Do you believe he came as a person or no? You can be honest.
I don't know. I'm actually not so sure.
Okay. Now, we do classes and stuff like this. There's actual historical figures that weren't in the Bible, that weren't biblical, that actually describe Christ. Like people that didn't even believe in the Jews. In throughout Europe, in Greece, and things. You believe that? When you get a chance, look it up.
Yeah.
There are actual, like a guy named by the name of Flavius. I always forget his name. Josephus is one, right? But there's another one called. I got the link in my phone. Sorry about that, but there are actual people, historians, who lived and made an account of the so-called prophet of God or son of God, because they didn't believe, but they made a record or an account of this man called the Messiah. So that's outside of the Bible. Now, when you read in the Bible, right? If you believe, you know, I know you said you believe. There's actual written accounts of it. Go ahead, read that real quick.
It's Revelation 1 verse 1.
Go ahead.
The revelation of Jesus Christ,
Yes.
which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
Yep.
And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John.
That's why John is called the Revelator, because he brought out the revelation of what he saw. Go ahead.
To bear record of the word of God, and of the testimony of Jesus Christ, and of all things that he saw.
Right. And of all things that what?
All things that he saw.
So John made a record, or he wrote down all the things that he saw. Go ahead.
Jumping down to verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot.
The Son of Man had a garment down to the foot. Now, in ancient times, they weren't necessarily wearing this type of clothing that we wear today, right? He had a
Yeah,
garment.
they're like wearing cloths and stuff, right? Yeah.
Right. Yep. Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
Down to the foot, uh-huh.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So he carried a girdle. That girdle was responsible for keeping your garment together. And a lot of people don't know this, but the disciples were armed. They had swords. And then obviously you could put other instruments in there. Maybe they put the scrolls in the back. Maybe they have other things they use for a horse or whatever, right? Go ahead. So you had a garment, a girdle on. Go ahead.
His head and his hair.
Now it's talking about his head now, and the hairs on his head were
were white like wool.
Were white like wool, giving you the texture of his hair. Now remember earlier I was asking you, typically what type of hair do black people have? They have woolly hair. Look at that. If you ever looked at wool, we have hair like that. Go ahead.
Were white like wool and as white as snow.
So now it's giving you the color, and it was white as snow. So this is the type of hair Christ had. Now when you type in Christ right now, you're going to see these images.
That's what I'm saying. That's usually what you see.
We got a bonus for you. We're going to tell you who that guy is. You can look it up on your phone too. We're going to tell you who these images are. So white like wool, as white as snow. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Eyes were as a flame of fire. Some say because he likes to drink wine, according to Genesis chapter 49. That's neither here or there. Go ahead.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Wait, hold on. About that part of red eyes, right? Whenever you see the images of Christ, typically what color are his eyes? When you type in Christ right now in a Google, what color is his eyes?
Blue.
Typically blue.
They're what?
Blue.
Blue. You agree with that? Typically, you'll see Christ's eyes blue or even hazel. I've seen some, he had green eyes. But you don't find that nowhere in the Bible. The Bible's responsible for the character or the person called Christ.
Right.
Nowhere in there do you read about him having blue eyes, green eyes, none of that. It literally says his eyes were red like fire, right? Go ahead.
And his feet
His feet now, Christ had feet, go ahead.
like unto fine brass.
Like onto what?
Like unto fine brass.
Do you know what brass is? What does brass look like, my brother?
Yellowish, goldish kind of color.
You could say that. Okay, goldish, right?
Kind of like that.
Like that, right?
Yeah, like on your shirt.
Right. But what?
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
As what?
As if they burned in a furnace.
Now, if you take a white rice grain and it looks like it was burned in a furnace, what color would that white grain look like? White rice grain look like?
White.
No, anything. So you take something, right? You said brass kind of is like this color, and you put it in a furnace, or it looks like it was in a furnace. What color would it look like? Black. It will look very dark. Now I don't know if you've ever burned. Right, there you go. Now I don't know if you've ever, if your mom and dad ever told you, hey, did you remember to take the pie out of the oven? And you say, oh no, and you run and you go take you take the thing out of the oven, and it's burnt. It's brown, damn near black. That's how dark Christ's skin was. Now you have folks that are saying Christ was olive tone. What color are olives, my brother? Green. And
Kind of like dark green or light
Or
green.
black.
or yeah.
Black, yeah, brown. You're right. Black.
Whenever I go to Subway and I order a sandwich, them olives always look dark. I never see no green olives. They always look dark, right? Like us, me and this brother, we part of the dark committee.
No, I just don't eat olives. So
You know, yeah, okay. But that is a description of the Son of Man in the Bible. The description is that of a man of color. Again, we didn't write this book. Somebody put that in there for a purpose. Mind you, the Bible was written thousands of years ago. Now, when people say color doesn't matter, okay, well, why is Christ represented as what nationality throughout the world? Why is he represented as a white man? That's a problem.
No, I always wondered who actually writ the Bible.
Who wrote?
Yeah, who actually writ the Bible?
Holy men. Give me what's that? 1 Peter, 2 Peter chapter 20. Holy men. And then give me Psalms. Oh, now, go ahead.
So these pictures that we see today of Jesus, they actually come from a man in the 6th century. It says it down here, you see it down here. It was the Pope of Rome. His son had died, and he had Leonardo da Vinci, which was his son's boyfriend. You know, his son was homosexual. He had him paint the picture of his son to look like Jesus. The Jesus we see today, his pictures come from this man named Cesare Borgia. He was of the Borgia family of the Pope of Rome. right? You could Google this up and look it up. It says right here in
Type that up.
September 14th,
Caesar Borgia.
1475, March 12th through 1507, Cesare Borgia was an Italian cardinal, which was cardinals. You see those people wearing those red uniforms
And the hats.
in Italy with the Pope and the red hats. He was one of those for the Pope, you know, and his father had him painted as Jesus. So that's where these images are looked very similar to his son, because he had his son painted as Jesus when his son died. You know, his son was evil. They lied and stealed and killed their way.
So that's where they got the image from?
Cesare Borgia, that's his name.
That's crazy.
The Pope's son, Pope Alexander was his name. He was the 5th or the 6th Pope of Rome.
What year was that? 1475?
Right. That's how when he lived. So he died pretty young, around 32.
So that wasn't even like BC.
It was it was way after. He was the 6th Pope of Rome.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't even that long ago. You know, that's where these pictures we see today, it comes from that man. You know, so
Right. Now, did you look that up? Caesar Borgia? So when you look it up, right? Who does that look like? That looks like the stereotypical image of Christ. And there's many different variations
Yo,
because
so that's really where they got it from.
yeah, because we just read to you what Christ looked like according to the word. That description, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you this. The description you see of Christ is that of a man of leprosy. Because people that had leprosy had white skin, and some of them had yellow hair on their flesh. The priest would identify if somebody, so you see this brother right here, if he had a white spot, and you have clean lepers and then you have unclean lepers, right? If this guy had a white spot on his flesh, right, without the yellow hairs on him, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Get that in Leviticus chapter 18, I believe it is. Now here's a question, right? Remember I just told you that they had to identify people who had leprosy back in ancient times. What color were the people then? So if you're looking for a white spot on somebody, if the people are already white, how would you be able to identify someone with leprosy? That means the people had to have color. It's just like, who was it? Moses, right? He was told to put his hand in his bosom. He pulled it out, and his hand came out white as snow. And then he put it back in his hand, back in his bosom, pulled it back out. Huh?
Yeah, leprosy.
She had, oh wow, as we're saying that, someone with leprosy just walked by. No, yeah. You see her? She had white spots all over. They call it vitiligo today. Yeah, but as we're speaking that, someone just walked by with it. But what I'm saying is, if all the people of ancient time were all white, you wouldn't be able to tell if somebody had leprosy. Now we're going to read for you in the law where it shows you how to identify somebody with leprosy. Go ahead, spots on her face too?
On her legs, everything.
Okay, that's the spirit of the Lord right there. That's crazy, isn't it?
Skin deficiency, right?
Right, right. Because most people.
I've seen people with that.
Yeah. People. I mean, you even have melanin in your skin, but there's some people that are melanin deficient.
But some people don't even know that I'm black. It's like I'm real light skinned.
Yeah.
And I actually have Irish on the black side of my family.
Okay.
So that's probably why I'm real light skinned. But yeah, usually people think I'm like either white or Spanish or something.
Well,
so they see my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original inhabitants of Ireland were black people. Even the Celtics, the Vikings, those were all men of color.
My dad's real dark though.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a warrior, man. Does he believe in God? Good.
He calls God the creator though.
The creator? Yeah. He has different titles, but his name, according to what we've learned, is Yahweh. And Christ's name is Yahushua. Some will say Yahusha, Yeshua. We don't go back and forth, but according to our teachings, the Messiah. You got it? Go ahead.
So Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deepened in the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy.
It's a plague of leprosy. Do you understand that? So if you have a spot on the flesh and it has white hair in it, and it goes all the way throughout the flesh, that means that person has leprosy. Like what the sister just had that walked by. Yeah. Go ahead, you're fine.
And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
So we're not going to go too much into that, but it's just showing you that they were able to identify people that had the white in their flesh and the white hair.
Right.
Okay? They constantly tell you on TV and in movies and church and stuff like that everyone in the Bible was white. At least that's how they depict it. In that case, we would. Yeah.
No, not even.
Watch all the biblical movies.
Yeah.
All the characters that play the actors that play all the biblical characters are all white Caucasians.
Yeah.
Yo, people like Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah.
They tried to make it seem like white people were becoming the minority. What do you think about that?
Well, I actually believe that there's truth to that, because they'll even tell you that they're not procreating fast enough to they are dying. So I do believe that white people are becoming. It's slowly happening. They are becoming.
But it doesn't take away from their power. Yeah,
Right.
but it's like they run everything. Jews run everything.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story right there. But all right, what scriptures was we getting back to? You have any other questions or anything like that, man? Okay.
I'm just sitting.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we go over various topics. I believe we was going into teaching your children the truth. We don't have a poster now, which I'm gonna get back into making some of the posters.
No, are you guys usually out here like Saturdays?
On Saturdays, we're usually right over there by the bus stop.
Like in the morning?
We come out like around 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so how long are you usually out here?
It depends. If we have engagement, we'll spend some time. But if not, we go with the spirit. We may go into something. This brother may get on the mic, or this brother, and we just go with the flow.
I'm usually interested in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm really on my way.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
You be easy, all right? Yeah.